It's live chat time. Especially surprising for those of you who might have considered me to be dead, considering the 1 whole minute of footage we posted this week. Alive! Oh my god, who was ever thinking that I would still be here? But no, I am here, and apologies, we'll get onto the content thing a little bit later in this, but first of all, let's just say a big hello to everyone. Thank you for the 5 likes already. I love that the loyal people of this channel know to drop that like straight away, just to avoid having to do it later. Anyway, big hello to all. Morning, hi, greetings from Montreal. Hi Martin. Martin's got like the most highs in there, so hi. So the kanji that I do not know, I believe is that koto? Is that koto? Hi koto. I know that I get confused about who is who, so help me help you. Today we do not have the glory of Choose My Beer, as there is only the one beer today, but there is still the many cameras. So I will show you. No one's going to be surprised when I tell you what beer I've got. It is, yeah. So I decided that this is the camera I'm going to use for showing you stuff, because like last time when we did the posters from Tokyo, you guys were obviously pointing out that stuff was kind of hard to see because I was doing it handheld on this slightly more low res camera. It's got like good contrast, good color on it, but it's kind of low res. So when I show you things, I'll be showing you on here. And of course, hey, if you want to see everything at once, we've got this. Whoa! Yes, that certainly will do your head in. Anyway, let's go back to a normal camera for now so I can get to a point. Mikoto. Thank you. So in my head, I had you down as Koto, but of course you do the Mikoto, so Mikoto. So, Marta's dropped in with A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Oh, that's how you're saying hi. You're saying hi by working up to hi alphabetically. I believe that's what you're doing. Either that or you're just trying to give me a language lesson, I guess. Hi, welcome to the alphabet. 1 minute. And it's the glass. We need the glass for the beer. So, yes, big news. Hopefully I have now... Well, I mean, I've got from her mouth... there has been agreed that Sakura from the Let's Go's, formerly from the Let's Go's, the bass guitarist, who only recently apparently left, she's agreed to do an interview with us. It's probably going to be an online interview, and in that interview we shall be discussing music and beer. It's going to be quite an interesting cross of different things, so that I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to that. Waiting for her to help me set a time for that interview, but we are going to have a proper drinky interview, which is going to be a lot of giggles, I think. Certainly going to have some fun questions and challenges for her. Just while I'm pouring this, you guys might have seen a clip of an upcoming Back a Binge episode from James's Back a Binge channel, featuring me and Bubbles, where I tried to open the how do you call it? It's a beer can. You open it. It's the new Asahi Super Dry. You open it, and the can makes the top froth. It makes a head on the beer, so you drink out of it like it's a glass. That did not go well, and we've done a whole video episode about that. But a clip of that is up on the Back a Bits channel, which I get to talk to you guys about as well today. That just went live a few hours ago. We've been talking about it for a while. It was originally going to be the home of the Bog Roll. The bog roll will still be on there. We're going to be, I don't know if we're going to be live streaming it or just putting a 24-hour long video of the bog roll on there. Self-foaming, thank you, Mikoto. So, yeah, it's like the self-foaming one. I had pointed out that I saw many potential problems with it. There's so many videos of people making it look easy, but I saw potential problems. And the one potential problem I expected was the one that happened, which is that it jammed. So anyway, if you, I won't spoil it. If you want to see that, the whole episode, the episode is actually really good. The funniest bit wasn't even that bit. So do check out that episode. I don't know when James is going to release it, but it's there. It's ready to go. It's just in his schedule. So I'll let him release that when it's ready. But if you want to see that clip, go check out the Baka Bits channel actually. So it's now there. I should have copied a link actually for it. Maybe I can get a link for it and pop it in here. But opening new tab causes computer to be angry. Is this what I wanted? This is probably what I wanted. Yeah, that's what I wanted. I'll drop a link. Well, I mean, obviously, do watch this live stream. Don't just leave. But feel free to check out the Back of Bits channel also. 24 hours of streaming bog roll. Yes. Any toilet paper pauses. I might put surprise things in the toilet paper for those who do sit down and watch the entire 24 hours. There'll be surprise moments that you can all report back on if you find any of them. Yeah, it's going to be like a Where's Wally of like really weird stuff just thrown into that. But yeah, at the moment, the channel's been mainly used for another thing that we've been talking about for a while, which is just because we've been around for so long and there's so many things that happened on the previous channel that, you know, just sort of little clips and things that have become part of the in-jokes that have stayed alive on this channel for the last few years. That decided to just sort of include some clips of the old stuff. Like I'm looking for the... I'm not going to spend too long on this channel. It's just a case if I think of something, I'll go back through what I've got and then just upload it. So I'm hoping to find or remember which review it was and find the footage of me being attacked by seagulls in the middle of a review. That was fun. Got little interesting clips from some of the banter casts, from some of the live streams. There's a lot of cool stuff on there actually. Yeah, just the random animal attacks that seem to regularly happen during our reviews will be covered. So animal attacks will also be featured in there. But yeah, it's good fun stuff. Any toilet paper pauses? Oh, I already read that one. Hello, hi Sven. Hello. And thank you for subbing, Fernando. Thank you. I know Sven's already subbed. I much appreciate you guys subbing to that little channel. Like I say, it's I think for those of you who haven't been around on the channel for a while, it will show you some fun stuff, which will maybe give you a little bit of a context of some of the silly things that have happened on the channel. And I'm trying to keep all the videos really short, so none of them are time consuming. You don't have to slog through to see what the point of the video is. And for those of you who have been on the channel for a while, it will remind you of some funny stuff and maybe show you some stuff that was lost after we restarted everything, that you didn't get to keep up on. I did see one video, which was my Happy New Year 2020 video, where I'm saying, Happy New Year everyone, 2020 is going to be great. I'm like, oh, this video has not aged well. But it also features me talking about, yeah, we just hit 1,200 subscribers. I just watched that and my soul just evaporated a bit. Just kind of disappeared. But yeah, there's a lot of little fun things over there. And so basically the idea is that if just on day to day, if something comes up in conversation or it comes into my mind, I go, oh yeah, that was cool. Then I'll just hunt it down quickly because it'd probably be easier for me to remember where it is than most people if we think of a funny little moment. And then I'll just pop it into like a 1-minute video or whatever and pop it on the Bits channel. Only the finest of beers. Except for the rest of the time when it's top value all the way. Anyway, yes, thank you for subscribing, Fernando. I greatly appreciate that. Yeah, and like I say, I'm really excited about the Sakura interviewing Sakura from the Let's Go's. We had so many interviews that we were going to do during 2020 that fell apart, and it's been really hard to get back onto them because obviously a lot of the artists who we were talking to, their whole schedules, their plans and everything have changed. We've got a really funny bit coming up in relation to I Love Me, which hopefully will... I'm hoping will spark an interview, because I'm not going to spoil that, but they said something on one of their live streams recently, which called us a lot of mirth, and I won't ruin the joke, but we have done a response to them, which will be posted relatively soon. So let's have a look here. I hope you never had an attack by Mukade. What's a Mukade? Mukade. Obviously a word I don't know. It's time for Google Translate. Google Translate. Let's see if this is going to tell me anything useful. It's probably not a Japanese word. It's just a word I don't know. But I am going to give it a... It looks like a Japanese word. Centipede. Oh, do you guys remember? I never got it on video, but when I had that I had a centipede in here, and it was the best thing that happened. I'm not joking, this is true. Because we had like a problem with really nasty big spiders coming in here. And I don't like spiders, I hate them. They run around, you're sitting there working and just suddenly up your walls. I don't like it. And then one day I go into a toilet, switch on the light, and there's just this thing on the wall. I didn't even know it was a centipede at first. I'd never seen a centipede with legs that long out the side. I was like, what the hell is that? Alright, fair enough. So, like with the spiders, I was thinking I'll try and coax it out of the house. But I thought I'll Google it first of all, see what it is, just in case it's something that bites you when you're asleep or something like that, like the spiders do. I Googled it, and it turns out, so lots of things saying, oh, if you've got one of these, they're really lucky. They're completely harmless to humans, and they go around killing spiders. They just kill and eat spiders, like really, really have an appetite for spiders. So I just let it stay alive, run around my walls for like a month, or I don't think it even lived that long, but no more spiders. It just eliminated all of them. So that was my best friend, and I want to know how I can get more. These creatures are wonderful. I love them. Another thing to add to Howard's list. We will be talking about the list a little bit actually, because I had to rewrite a lot of the list today, but we'll talk a bit about that later on. I don't know, it might be quite soon, but you know, just when the conversation leads to it. It is something I want to get around to today. Was one of the main subjects of this video, but anyway, don't worry, we'll be talking about the list more. Martin, when we have 100 plus bog roll videos, we can have a marathon stream and watch them all. Then do the bog roll videos 25 to 1. It'll be the same video, but top 25 instances in the bog roll. So, you know, if people find little Easter eggs in the bog roll videos, like you can pick them out and we can do a top 25 bog roll instances list. Mirai, hey Mirai, 2020 best year ever. I guess 2020 was a catalyst for some kinds of change at least. Yeah, I mean, I try to be, I don't want to sort of jump on the meme bandwagon. I try to be relatively positive. There were some good things that happened in 2020, actually, some really good things that happened in 2020. I mean, the Line Box Bandmade gig, 2020. So, you know, I try not to be overly negative about these kind of things, but overall I don't think any of us were ready for just how insane that was going to be. Just so many weird bits. Centipede, yeah, that's the one. Brilliant. Yep, they eat other bugs. I love that thing. I wish I had more of them. Wonderful. And once you realise it's a positive thing, every time you see it run across your wall, you're like, off to do your work again. Thanks. It just feels happy. It's like seeing the postman coming. It's like, yay, you've come to do your work. So I want it back. Fernando Bakabits, lol, like the title. Thank you. To be honest, the title came to me before anything else, and then it was like about a year ago, and then I just started banding the idea around. And everyone was kind of like, oh, it'd be interesting. It was only like after 2020 that I realised actually we got a lot of footage that we can put into that. After the Korea video comes out, there'll be plenty of things from that I can take and put on there as well. Hey, Nigerian, hello, howdy. Welcome back in. Mine says brain-eating centipede like in Star Wars. I don't know about that, but I just have the image of it going. I don't think they climb it. I don't think they're like earwigs. I don't think they're going to climb in your ear and chew out your brain. I certainly hope not. Sven says, yeah, thanks. Ear centipedes, brain eaters. Well, everyone's on this like brain eating. I wasn't expecting us to go down this approach. It never ate my brain that I'm aware of. If anyone can see any cognitive failures in me since that instant, then please let me know. The black dot on his shoulder. Oh, yeah, I don't. This was a second-hand shirt. Sorry, it's because of the mirror image. This is a second-hand shirt that I got from my favourite second-hand shirt in Tokyo. So it's got like a logo. And I don't think that's a designer logo. I literally think that is just like, I think this was a work shirt. I think someone actually handed their work shirt into a second-hand shop. Let's see if we can get it close enough. Maybe someone can tell me what the hell this is. Let's go over to the SJ camera. Really hard to get the coordination right for this, but yeah, it's like 2 cross something. I don't know. I could be wearing. It could be for a political group. It could be for anything. I don't know. It's there. I keep spiders alive in my house because they eat all the insects. Yeah, see, that is where you draw the line. For me, the problem with spiders is they invade too much of my space and they do bite me in my sleep, which I dislike greatly. And just the webs, it's just like, oh, stop building shit in my house. So I tried to coax them outside, but I had this really bad instance once when I was a kid, because when I was a kid, I always try to catch them in the glass. You know, the thing you do, you put them in the glass, slide the paper under, take them out. Easy, nice, and you know, it means you can release them into like the garden or out into the street somewhere where there's a bush, and you know, they got a good chance of getting a better meal. But I remember once there was this big one in my room, well, not that big, but you know, it was big, especially when you're a kid, it looks even bigger. And it was fast, and every time I tried to get it, it was gone so quick. And then I finally lined it up at a good angle. It was at the right height, you know, when you don't have to reach, when you can just sort of like aim down the end of the glass and bang. And I went for it, and it went to run just as I dropped it on it. Slam. Chopped it in two. And just the bottom half fell into the glass, and the top half just rolled around with this blood smear and fell on the floor. I looked at it, I was like, this has put me off spiders forever. So, yes, that was a pretty traumatic incident. I just remember looking at it thinking, why am I trying to help this little shit? I just read what Marto said. I will get to that. Sven, Mukade looks quite terrifying and is bigger than normal centipedes. It's big. To me, it's not terrifying. It's weird. I know why most people hate them. I know why most people, spoke to other people about them. People think they look really weird. I find something kind of nice about the fact that it's got this sort of long legs. So when it moves, it just kind of looks like a little wave pattern. I find them quite nice. Calming. Very peaceful little creature that goes around doing your dirty work. So I'm fine. Like, I don't like snakes, but when I found out that what they call the rat snake around here, there are some dangerous snakes around here, but the rat snake, basically, they never hurt humans, and what they really do is they just chase after things like rats and, again, spiders, you know, pest animals, basically. So then I suddenly liked them, and I told you guys a story before of, like, probably the year before last now, when I actually was walking through the grass and I stepped on one, and it just freaked out and just, well, I would say ran away, but slid away as quick as it could the minute I lifted up my foot. Didn't even try to bite me. So there are some animals that I didn't expect to like that have actually been for all the horrifying nature that is around here, the terrifying creatures that are around here, there are some nice ones, and they're not the ones you expect. Snakes and centipedes, it would appear. Mugun says, my spiders need to do a better job of ridding my room of mosquitoes. Do spiders really go for mosquitoes? I guess their webs kind of do, but that's interesting. I guess they could do a good job on that. So getting on to Marlo's comment, Howard doesn't have any brain cells for it to eat anyways. So you're referring to me as a light snacks. It's a light snack. Just kidding, just kidding. Too late. Too late. My brain would be offended if I was smart enough. So, Mikata says, QR code. Nah, don't get. Sorry, I'm disconnected from a joke. You're going to have to remind me. I'm sure it's a really obvious one. Fernando, shame on you. You shouldn't make fun of the... Jeez, guys. House spiders die outside, so I probably have caused a lot of murder. In all fairness, it's not like it's going to live particularly well in here. Not really any windows. Ain't nothing coming in here for you to eat, mate. You're going to die in here. Lagoon says, apparently house spiders can only live inside. Oops. Yeah, I've killed a lot of spiders by the sound of it. They do also jump. Do they? I heard some types jump, but it tends to be like a very overestimated thing that apparently most spiders don't really jump. They can just sort of fall. I know, that's the really annoying one when you try to catch it and it just let go, it falls. And it does that thing where it lies on the floor and plays dead. Very traumatizing. Thanks, Marta. Thank you. My brain cells started disappearing around that point. Again, the biggest spider I really caught was the size of my hand, grey with spiky legs and large enough to make me clearly see the eye. No thanks. It's too big for the glass. Sorry. When it's summertime, it's time for cicadas. Yeah, cicadas. You get a lot of them around here, obviously. Hello, Harry. Welcome, Harry. Anyway, let's we can move on to a subject that doesn't involve me, accidentally killing creatures because I'm trying to save them, but don't let me save them. You get the point. Beer time. And as always, I'm not using the Sapporo glass. I'm using the premium malts glass. Hey, we got a fancy camera. Let's use the fancy camera. Try not to pour beer in it. The premium malts glass. The perfect glass if you're drinking your Sapporo Black Label. Let's go to the fun camera one more time. Da-da-da-da-da. Watch me drinking three angles. That's enough of that. So, oh my word. So let's have a look here. They can't do pole vaulting though. There you go, Rev. Sven likes them. I think I would like them if they weren't so damn difficult to deal with. It's because they're clever and because they're, clever, they're able and they're smart. It makes them very annoying to deal with because they always do what they want and you can't get them. They're kind of like cats. Harry, Discord link. Thank you for dropping that, Harry. Not pre-chilled glass at beer. No, the glass wasn't pre-chilled. The can is. I'm English. I don't need it to be freezing. Just need it to be below room temperature, and I'm all good. And if it's bitter, it should be room temperature. Those people who serve bitter or ale cold, no. Can they run a marathon versus Usain Bolt? 8 legs versus 2. My logic is undeniable. Your logic certainly does make sense if they had it's all to do leg length and speed. I don't think they would win that. Although some of the camel one, the camel one's apparently like ridiculously fast. So maybe some of them. Are there many weavers in? I don't know what a weaver is, and just the whole name makes me sure it's probably something. It just sounds like something horrible. This is one of the main reasons I've never been to Australia, because I don't know. I find them creepy. I do. I find them creepy. They just appear in places. And in Australia, they've got that one that bites you on the arse and kills you. I don't need that in my life. Or my death. Going for a shit and you die taking a poop because something bites you on the butt. It's like having the Elvis fate, but without all the fun-eating burgers. I mean, that's not... No. Room temperature, cellar temperature, surely. For an ale? Yeah, not really. Room temperature. I think cellar's probably the best temperature for storing it, but when you serve it, it should be room temperature. All drinks in Vietnam are served on ice, even the beer. Well, if it's lager, yeah. It's actually no, I don't put ice in any beer at all, but I understand some people do. In fact, when I was in Vietnam, I did have a few beers that weren't on ice, but I know the option was always like present. On the plus side, the beers there always taste like water. In Vietnam, I know that Vietnam's got like some. Pretty sure it was Vietnam that was the Philippines as well. So it might be in Philippines and Vietnam that had like drinking rules about when you're allowed to buy beer. Actually, no, that wasn't Vietnam because I remember going and buying a beer really late at night from a corner shop. I'm pretty sure I did, or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I bought something else. Tell me. I know Philippines has like hours that you're not allowed to buy beer in. Is that the same in Vietnam? I seem to remember it is, but I can't remember for sure. There was, says Mariah, a band called Weaver from Kobe, at least. They had a piano, bass, and drums, no guitars. Sounds interesting. I'm all for that. As much as I love guitars, there are enough guitars in this world. Enough bands with guitar that if you're going to do something without guitar, I'm all for hearing it and giving it a chance. It certainly sounds like something fun. Cold beer, yes, but I don't add ice to it. Yeah, I think that's thinking that. I mean, if you put ice in it, the problem is that when the ice melts, it waters the beer, and the worst thing is a watery flavored beer. Even a little bit is really bad, unless of course you like Bud Light. Sorry, I didn't do that properly. Unless of course you like Bud Light. Doesn't work when you do it a second time round, does it? Killed my punchline. Anyway. Hanoi bars have to shut at 12. All they do is pull the shutters down, turn down the music, and carry on. Speakeasy style. Okay, so it wasn't what I was thinking. I'm thinking of the Philippines then. Philippines definitely has that law, so it clearly is. I think I just sort of subconsciously extended it to Vietnam, because I know that Vietnam is a little bit different on. It has some beer rules, but obviously nowhere near as strong as Philippines. Motto, Bits channel locked and loaded into Discord. Oh, thank you. Damn. Moto is so much better at this than me. I got CMC, I got Harry, I got Moto, I got my team of experts, and then I've got Sven to tell me just when what I do is. Yeah, so that's like CMC and Moto are the people who keep the tech going. Sven and CMC are the people who tell me when I've got something wrong. And Harry is there to provide moral support. I'm finding you all roles in this. Again, perhaps, but Vietnamese folks tend to not be great at following rules. I noticed there's that kind of fun thing, especially considering the history of Vietnam, and so you'd think that Vietnam was a little bit more, I don't know, kind of more. I want to pick my words carefully because I've only got like a sort of very basic first grade knowledge of Vietnamese history, but you'd think that everyone was a little bit more unified, perhaps. But no, you are right. The Vietnamese seem to be very good at just sort of doing it their own way. I remember there was a hotel that I stayed in there that I didn't really want to stay in, but I had no choice. I had to stay in this one hotel for a couple of days, and you could just tell that the staff did not care. I was like, what on earth? It's like, this is the worst customer service I've ever experienced. Whilst Vietnam also had some of the nicest people I've ever met. It's like, but then when it comes to work, they were just like, no, we really don't care. It's like, we just don't care about anything. It's like, hey, my door doesn't lock or unlock. I'm like, yeah, what you gonna do? Take your time, work it out. So what the fuck are you making me do it for? It's like, and then they had an air conditioner unit inside my room, but then there was the window, and outside my window was the air conditioner, the external air conditioner unit for the next room. And as you can imagine, the external part blasts out hot air when it's pushing cold air in. So my air conditioning unit was overpowered by the external air conditioning unit outside my window, making my room basically superheated. It was the worst hotel I've ever stayed at in my life, and the staff did not care. I was like, okay, so there's some really funny sort of just like some things in Vietnam. It's like it doesn't work the way you'd expect it to, and then some things are amazing. It's a real sort of country with two different sides from what I've experienced. Okay, so let's have a look here. Bud piss, says Fernando. Certainly not on the roads, certainly. I think I mentioned this before. I was really... Yeah, don't get me wrong, I can see the problems with the way the roads work. And when I was... certainly when I was in Hanoi, there's a few times when motorcyclists were just not good at riding their bikes and they hit me, and it was nothing to do with... anything except for the fact they were just sort of wobbly on their bikes, and you're like, okay, you're not very good at this. But I was overall very impressed at the way that the traffic moved. And I remember looking at one of those intersections once when there was loads of bikes and cars moving in between, and I was working out, well, this wouldn't work in most countries. There'd be crashes every 5 seconds. And it's like, there clearly isn't here. There might be more crashes, but there's not as many crashes as you'd expect. And I tried to work out, why does this work so well? And it became very clear after looking at it for a couple of minutes that basically what it is everyone moves at a very consistent speed. And if you take away acceleration and deceleration from the whole process, then it's like a school of fish. It becomes easier to read how everything's moving around you if you take speed out of the equation and everyone's moving at a consistent speed. So Yeah, I was impressed. I mean, if you think about it like that, that's an example of everyone being able to follow a basic sense of how to do something together, whether that's something that's consciously thought of or not. Driving in Vietnam is an experience, to say the least, says Nagoon. I mean, like I say, I can see that. I can see it being a pain in the ass, but I do think that there is a way in which it works, which is quite impressive. So, we got just lol. Harry, I finally saw a proper translation of the Humpback and Scandal show advert. It's not a battle of the bands, like Google translated it, just joint show in Osaka. That's what I assumed. When it's got a sort of, when they use the X thing, you know, sort of Humpback X Scandal, that usually means together rather than versus. Rev, I saw two guys on a scooter in Vietnam. I couldn't work out why the guy behind had his arms outstretched until I realised he was holding a pain. This sounds like some sort of anecdote from like a 30s comedy or something, but I love it anyway. Or maybe a 70s police chase film. Sven, eating time. See you soon. All right, Sven, have a good one. See you soon, sir. See you if we're still here when you get back. See you soon. Martin, do you? That's it's between you guys, so I'll leave you to it. Mikoto, Indonesia has moped riders, but they didn't seem to follow any road rules. Surprised there weren't way more accidents. I did hear that Indonesia apparently is one of the worst driving countries in the world. I don't know that's true. I've never been there, but I've heard it's one of the worst. And considering their population is apparently booming, that might well be the reason. It might be more pressure of the number of people on the roads. Again, I don't know. Again, I saw one guy with 24 chickens tied up and hanging upside down off the sides going to market. Again, as amazingly fun as that image is, I can't say that I wouldn't disbelieve you for a second. It sounds totally consistent with the kind of crazy shit that I saw there. I really enjoyed that country. I enjoyed it so much. I once saw traffic, says Rev, in Cambodia using a roundabout, happily going both ways round it. Whoa. Do you mean like two separate rings, or do you mean literally going through each other, sort of Arc de Triomphe style? Although they're all going the same way. Again, how you do have to go with the flow with traffic regardless of what you think should be happening. Even if the light is red and everyone goes, then you just go. Yeah, I mean, this thing, it's like when I first got off because I've been to Vietnam before, but we'd gone on a big trip and we hadn't really, you know, sort of hunkered down in the city like I did last time. Again, last time was on the channel, although that was on Breakdown. So some of the videos from Vietnam, actually, I could probably re-upload some of them to back a bit. But yeah, it's like it was the first time I'd really focused on the city, and I just remember looking, and you know, first time across the road there, I was going to like a shopping centre to pick up some food for the stay because I was in this really nice Airbnb when I first arrived, and I was like, I remember I crossed the road. I was like, okay, you know, if you've done a lot of travelling, then you can work out. You know, you cross the road, you just say, oh, first time, do it on intuition, follow what you see. But then I was like, this is so complex. I was like, I'm sure it can't really be this complex, which is why, like I say, I think it was the next night, I just sat down after like coming back, sat down by one of the junctions on the wall and just watched the traffic for just a few minutes. Like, okay, everyone's on board with this, so there's clearly a system. And like I say, what just came to me, kind of like you said, you go with the flow. You don't accelerate, you don't brake harsh, you don't try to find room. You basically just say, I want to kind of end up over there, and so you just follow the flow and see if you can make it turn to your advantage. So I can imagine you just being swept in the wrong direction and having to go around and take the next junction or something. But yeah, that was kind of just fascinating. And to me, although it might not be the most efficient system, I was really impressed by it. Like I said, I just, after when it started to click, I was like, yeah, this is, you know, I mean, in other countries, people would get impatient, and if one person gets impatient, that entire system falls apart. One person tries to dive into a gap, entire system falls apart. So that's Harry and Moto. So I don't even know what it's about, so I'm going to skip over it for a second. Rev, I once took a motorbike taxi in Thailand. I noticed it took a shortcut the wrong way down a dual carriageway, and because there were two lanes, the traffic was using all three of them. What? That's insane. It's like, I know a shortcut. Head on. I was like, oh Jesus. I do remember Again, I have to remember. Actually, this was in Thailand. Yeah, this was in Thailand. I've been on a lot of motorbikes, and the Philippines was the place where they allowed me to rent and use a motorbike without even showing my license, which I hadn't brought with me. But it was in Thailand. I was on a motorbike taxi. Sure, it was in Thailand. Yeah, I think it was in Thailand. Doesn't matter anyway. And I think I told this story a while ago. But I was sitting there on the back, and you're on the back, and you kind of just. You don't feel this when it happens, but the bike stopped and I went to get off. And I lifted, obviously, left leg over to get over. And then as I moved my right leg, I was like, it was this feeling that someone pulling off a plaster, pulling off a Band-Aid if you're American. Pulling off a bandage, basically. I looked down and just the skin had peeled off my leg because basically the exhaust was so hot that it basically burnt through the skin on my leg and I hadn't even felt it. And just peeled it away. And so like for the next week, and I think that was the last week of my stay anyway, I was limping around because my leg was just burnt so badly. Like, okay, so that's my worst motorbike story. Otherwise, most of my stories on motorbikes are really fun. Mikata says it's probably a Southeast Asian thing. I think so. Although I imagine, I don't know, but I'd imagine like African countries probably like that as well. I suspect any country that has a lot of people and maybe not a lot of infrastructure probably just works out a system. Just people just work out, okay, this is just kind of how you drive, and then most of us will live. Again, walking across the street is an act of faith too. You just walk at a constant rate and everyone should just flow around you. Yeah, I tend to find that. I did find that just so long as you kind of like, as you're walking across, you keep kind of basic eye contact with the people coming towards you, then usually you're fine. It's kind of terrifying at first, but then once you just sort of like realise that's the way it is, you just go. So yeah, I get that. Fernando says, in Quebec, in the spring season, the fun part of driving is avoiding the potholes on the road. Yeah, again, imagine when the weather temperature comes up. So McCullough says, yeah, but in Africa there's more space. Are you just kind of suggesting that everyone just drives off road? I'm assuming they still use roads, It's a big continent. I'm sure not everyone's off road. Oh dear. You need this. When I say infrastructure, I don't just mean for traffic lights. I also mean infrastructure for building wide enough roads. So I love your image that people just come up to a junction as that. I'm going to off-road my way there. Martin says, crossing the street in Amsterdam is also a challenge at times. Bikes, pedestrians, cars, trams, motorbikes, joggers. I like ... joggers. Like you joggers who go round and round and round and all the people. No, I'm not going to get sued for that. Each with 2 lanes in most places. Need 4 pairs of eyes. Yeah, I get that. I imagine it's a bit more slow paced though in Amsterdam because everyone's high. No? Stereotype? Foblitz, hearing all these tales makes me wonder how you're all still alive. Which we're alive but damaged. I think that's the way I describe it. We're all basically damaged from our experiences and here to explain to each other how we've foolishly injured ourselves. Oh man. Nagoon, you have 2 seasons, winter and road repair. Yeah. Makata says, no, in Asia there's tons of mopeds. That is primarily an Asian. I don't think it's so. We think of Asian when we think of that. I don't think it's solely an Asian thing. I do think that also applies in like African countries as well. That's kind of a common thing. But yes, it is certainly more of an Asian stereotype, and I suspect the vast majority of all the mopeds in the world are in Southeast Asia. So that makes sense. To my old workplace, there was a giant pothole in the intersection. Could never have I driven over it. Blimey. Southeast Asia. Fernando. Spring is about potholes. Yeah, cars get damaged on occasion and lost. We can have a similar saying in Canada. There are only 2 seasons in Canada, winter and construction. So yeah, I get the feeling everyone knows what it is like to suffer difficult infrastructure. Alright, so I'm going to move on to a slightly different subject, just as we're 40 minutes in. I don't want to shortchange this too much, but obviously one of the main subjects I wanted to talk about was Just letting you guys know, a little update for anyone who wasn't aware. Obviously, I'm aware that this week we managed to publish the mind-bending, I mean absolutely mind-bending amount of 1 minute of footage. So there's a few reasons behind this, but essentially speaking, this week has been productive, as often these quiet weeks tend to be. It tends to be that a lot of stuff is happening behind the scenes. The reasons why nothing was posted was partly because I had the Tokyo videos that I brought back, and there's been a lot of sifting through them and having to work with them. Then there was, as a lot of you know, when I came back to find the, I'm not going to get into this subject too much, but someone had basically decided that they were going to keep their dog in my house, their puppy, which I love dogs, but this was a young Labrador, which is a very energetic dog. I don't have time to look after it because I've got too much to do myself, and they weren't looking after it. I'm like, oh, this is insane. So it took me like 3 days to get them to take it because it was just yapping constantly, and so every time I was with the dog I wasn't able to do any work, and every time I was doing work I couldn't do it because it was yapping, and I started getting a migraine. It was driving me insane. So luckily they have taken and are now looking after a dog, so everything in that sense is okay. And then on top of that, I, as mentioned, I tried to do a review of, because I've got so many videos that are not reviews, you know, stuff from Tokyo, the Obihiro leg of the travel trip in December, because I want to get on that so I can move on to the next 3 destinations as well, get that series out eventually. So many things I'm doing which are not reviews, so I was like, okay, well, I've got to record a couple of reviews as well so that I can post a balanced schedule this week. And the first one I went to do was a Regal Lily one, which, as anyone on Discord know, I had a long discussion afterwards because I had a bit of trouble with that review. I have actually thought of a way now that I am going to put out that review, but I need to present it slightly differently because it was. I'm not going to spoil it too much, but my feelings towards the song, I realised that my feelings subjectively were so different from what I could understand people objectively might have thought of the song, that I needed to really sit down and think about how I was going to present that. I was like, this is not one where I can just sort of say, oh, this is what I think the song's like. This is one where I really need to analyse more, you know, sort of what it means to have a difference between a personal opinion and a general opinion. And sort of, I thought it was interesting to make a larger point. So that one's coming along as well, but that's going to be put back, so I need to put a lot of effort into doing that properly. So there's a lot of rejigging of things as well. You guys have put some great stuff forward. CMC suggested Stereo Girls, a really awesome video there, which I'm looking forward to. It was really interesting. Good and bad points, but basically a really interesting one that I'm going to be reviewing there. It's all kinds of cool stuff. So there is a lot of stuff coming. I'm hoping there'll be a video up tomorrow. Tomorrow is actually a very busy day for other reasons, so it might not be tomorrow. It might be Tuesday, but still, if nothing comes out on there tomorrow, there'll be a few things on the Back of Bits channel because that's just set up to release a few little videos now. It's got a little roll going. So there should be some fun stuff coming up soon, but like I say, if not Monday, then Tuesday I'll get back onto that. There has been a lot of work. I managed to finish the Obihiro video quietly in the background, set up the Back of Bits channel, get translations done for videos that I've shot in Tokyo, which needed to have translations done for them, write a lot of notes for reviews that I want to do, get a full schedule. This is where I was mentioning about the list. A lot of your suggestions, I've been obviously mixing them with some of the stuff, getting that on there, and getting songs that I wanted to cover that you guys have mentioned before, as well as new stuff. Really working on the list. There's been a huge amount of work done on the channel this week, but obviously none of it's really resulted in anything more than that 1 minute Yuka-run video. Still, there you go, something to show we're alive. But yeah, just want to let you know everything's been as busy as ever, so apologies about the lack of content. Another good reason for the Back of Binge channel to open when it did. A big thank you to everyone who's been following Back of Binge with James. He's been putting out some really cool stuff. I've been watching some of his videos again. There's been some really fun ones and some new ones coming up. I know he's putting a mixture of old and new on there, so do keep your eye out for that. There's some really cool stuff, and I know some of you guys have been following and supporting him, so it's much appreciated. Let's have a look at some of the comments that have been coming in. Don't know what that was. So Martin says we are alive only because intelligent centipedes in our brains. Probably true. I am probably now being controlled by the centipede. That's probably where it went. It didn't die. It just went into my brain. Harry says, those are the main seasons here in New Jersey. I think they tear up some roadways just to justify their jobs. I'd heard that there was a lot of roadworks in New Jersey. I remember when I went to New Jersey, it's got like such a bad rep, but when I went to New Jersey, I actually really liked it. I thought it was really nice. I probably had more fun in New Jersey than I had in New York. Just being honest. Nagin says, at least in the Midwest, they have it down. is that machine that just drives down the interstate, chews up the road in front, and spits new road out the back. Heard about that thing. Ooh, could do with one of those. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, I hope that information on this week has probably put things in a little bit of perspective. It's just like a whole pile of things happening at once, made it a little bit difficult to deal with. So that's where I stand at the moment. But yeah, content has been worked on, so hopefully that means that the content that is coming out next week will be particularly good. Not just any old content. Let's have a quick look and see what is in the... excuse me. This week's... Yeah, because the new music paper for this week has come out. Let's have a little look at it. You guys know the freebie, monthly freebie. So our cover person is Missia, but the back cover again, same as last time when we had Aiko on the front cover. Aiko for the win. The back cover again. Someone is really pushing this boy band. 17. The less we say about that, the better. So is there anything interesting in the papers today? In the papers. Look for the Financial Times. I'm going to see if there's any interesting artists in here. Let's have a look at it. People are still talking about roads. I don't usually comment on the back of binge videos, but I watch and like. That's nice. Yeah, I think it's kind of hard to comment on the ones you've already seen. Isn't it pronounced like when? Just curious. Is what pronounced like when? Oh, you're talking to Nguyen. Nguyen said, I'll catch up on this later. Fernando, 6 to 8 months of snow is rough on our roads, and with 4 to 6 months of clear weather, that becomes construction season. I guess that's kind of what it was like when I was in Sapporo, but yeah. The winter season there is very variable in length. Like sometimes it's like incredibly long, sometimes it's really not. There is some weird stuff in here, but nothing particularly interesting. First thing we recognise is there is a little bit of advertising for dear old Ningen Is, as usual. Ningen Is doing their usual smiley expression. It's always that photograph that's used for advertising. So that's cool. A couple of things going on here. Groups that I maybe haven't heard of that maybe I can check out. I usually try to post... thank you, Nagoon. It's greatly appreciated. I know there's a Japanese punk magazine with the fine title of... I think I'd heard about that before. I don't know if that's just because it sounds so right that it must be true, but I'm pretty sure I've heard of that before. I don't think I've ever seen it before, because if I'd seen it before, I would have photographed it for sure. Photo the bollocks. Me too. I try to comment to help the algorithm, but YouTube algorithm tends to be broken anyways. Yeah, it's true. I mean, really the best thing you can do is just sort of appeal to some sort of interaction with the video. And any form of interaction will probably result in something positive coming from it. Like I said, that's why I suggest people doing the likes on these videos, because it does help. And like I say as well, if you're subbed to the Back of Binge channel, you'll see the full episode of that draft beer can episode with me and Bubbles. That's really funny. I do, honestly, I recommend that. It was such a giggle. I've got halfway through this and I can't see anything of particular interest. This is a really bad month for music, clearly. Part of what's made these so entertaining is because I always used to look at these, but they've become more entertaining since 2020 when there's not really much to talk about. It's like, yeah, no one's gigging, because these are usually full of gig information. Wow, this is the weakest month ever. What? Hey, what? I have this is not music as far as I'm aware, but I have questions about what the hell I'm looking at here. Okay, so this is another reimagining of Hamlet. Five Guys Shakespeare. Five Guys? Is it like a 5-person acting troupe or something? And why is Shakespeare suddenly turned goth? No one knows. Yeah, this was a terrible, terrible month for this. Don't know much about what Missy has been up to. Best of luck to her. And that was the news. Alright. Pop that back over here. Apologies for the close-up shot of my stomach. So let's have a look and see what everyone is saying. So, It's something like that. This isn't again. I'm trying to figure out how to type it out in English since it's not a normal English sound. Oh, okay. You're talking about the when thing. I'm glad I follow my favourite bands on Twitter. Yeah, that's actually a good idea. I've been surprised how good that's been. I've also really been enjoying the Line blogs recently. The Silent Siren one's been fantastic. I mean, Silent Siren have been really good with the Sci-Fi Channel stuff. I think we said this before, it's so good for a peaceful day, the Sci-Fi Channel stuff. It's just so chill. Just a few people, a few friends, have a laugh, play some silly games. It is the most chilled out channel ever. So yeah, I wholeheartedly recommend the Sci-Fi Channel to anyone who just needs some chilled out stuff to take you away from day-to-day life. Plus it has some of the funniest translations if you do turn on the subs. Not particularly accurate a lot of the time. So let's have a look here. Hamlet with hamburgers. They look more anorexic than hamburgers. They look like sort of people who do like magazine modelling. So probably there has been a bit of slow down in new releases. A couple of new Bish tracks, one from Empire, 3 from Vivid Undress, and one from Pigs. I should go back and check out more Vivid Undress. That's one of those groups we did 2 reviews on them. I need to go and check out more. Be a good one to jump into. I know there's a lot of interest in them as well. Fernando, I think, mentioned them to me a few times also. The Bish thing, obviously, when used they released the video of the new member. I can't remember her name. The one from AKB. She has now officially, seemingly joined. I don't know if they've given her like a funny character name, like the rest of them have a stage name or not, or whether she's just performing as herself, which would kind of be funny. Maybe something like Wenga. I don't know. Moto says, you might be happy to know the Rinahamu from Cyber is making a new group. I am happy to know that. They're one of those groups who, when I first heard them, we didn't hear nothing. Well, I didn't hear enough to really know, but I was like, there's something interesting here. I was listening to it. I was like, this could be kind of cool. I was like, this could be going in a good direction. So I guess if it's kind of like the what Trident is to Girls Rock Band Kakamai, if it's Kakame, if it's following, I always get that wrong. If it's following in the spirit of what came before and developing it, then I think that's certainly a cool thing. So I hope so. I do hope so. Rev says, as for following on Twitter, Psyche's Twitter feed is mainly scores from Hanshin Tigers baseball games if they win. I hate to say it, but when I think of Psyche, I think this woman is interested in fashion, trains, and baseball. I can't imagine that if I met her, we would get on. I just can't. I imagine that as lovely as she seems to be, I imagine that I would probably find it much easier to spend my time with Misa than any other member. I think Misa is, although I worry that Misa doesn't smile enough, she's maybe not hyper enough. I think I need to spend my time with Ainyan. I think Ainyan is she's the one person I'd probably be most able to spend time with. Except for Sakura, hopefully. Looking forward to that Sakura interview still. Howard, Five Guys is a burger chain. We're talking about a different thing here. Oh, so you mean like, you don't mean that. You mean like Five Guys is like the name of a burger chain. I think I've heard of that. It is ringing a bell, actually. This is one of those things where it's such a weird name that if I don't want to say that I know it if it's not something I know, but I think I know it. Probably something that I knew and forgotten. Brain kicking in. So if Five Guys, Five Guys is a burger chain, isn't it? Anyway, if that's true, then that makes sense. So that's why you said that was okay. It's like I'm like doing this, like trying to work out Tenet in my head. Okay, yeah, my first thought too at Five Guys, lol. So I'm guessing that is okay. Yeah, her new stage name is Yuki Reysol after the football club. Weird. Fair enough. Doesn't seem quite weird enough. There's something I'm missing here. Thank you, Harry, so much for the Discord and the Patreon. I'm really looking forward to seeing her contribution to Bish, but I need to do a little video about that as well. I've got so many videos to finish. Fernando, Psyche also collects running shoes. I do like trainers, running shoes. Yeah, I do like them, but I don't know if I would ever collect them. Like one comfy pair is enough for me. When they wear out and I buy more. I think Miku and Akane would be fun to interview. I agree. I think Akane's probably, although she's not as loud as Miku, I think she's got a lot of personality. I think she's probably the one who is most definitely playing herself. When you say, well, her and Kanami are the two I think are most definitely being their real selves. The others are doing like amplifications of their own personality, but I think Miku and Kanami and Akane are just themselves. Fernando, Five Guys Burger's not that good to be honest. Oh, okay, fair enough. So that's probably why not. I'm sure that James has probably mentioned to me before. When he talks about like names of businesses, I've got to be honest. I remember what he says, but then I completely forget the name of the product of the business because I'm like, I'm never myself going to get that. So just tell me when that thing comes around again, and I'll remember you. I was like, oh, that was the thing that you said was like this. Misa could open a beer properly though. Oh, I can drink it properly. That's all that matters. So, agree. Overpriced where I am. Five Guys. Misa is kind of shy though. That might be why she does the sort of straight-faced thing. That's kind of a good persona to put on if you're naturally the sort of person who doesn't really feel particularly outwardly. If you're kind of a natural introvert, then just sort of being the quiet one who drinks. That's a nice way of putting a persona to it. So that's kind of cool actually. I hope that's true because it sounds kind of fun. Mikhail says Psyche's a Nike fanatic. Howard would have a hard time. Yeah, I'd be like, these shoes, Primark. Buy them at Primark. Buy them second hand. Market, much better. You bought brand new Nikes? Yeah. Harry, Five Guys are not the best burgers I've ever had, but decent enough. Yeah. So better than McDonald's, basically, is what we're saying. Yes, James, that comment was for you. Didn't that work? It did work, didn't it? Again, these jokes don't work when I have to test them afterwards to see if I did the camera change right. I'm still not confident about how I do that. Oh, man. So Nguyen says, I find Five Guys meat to be pretty tasteless. Tastes okay if you got the right toppings. Yeah, the cost to taste ratio doesn't do it for me. So maybe a bit like McDonald's then. Marta says Five Guys is fine, but definitely overpriced. Better off going elsewhere. Sounds like there's a general consensus. Ref, if it wasn't for language barrier, I would also think Akane would be the most fun. Certainly, she can only say I am a gorilla. Yeah, I think just with the little bit of Japanese I know, if I ever get to interview them, I get the feeling that apart from being #NoBias my favourite, I get the feeling that I would probably find her the easiest to get along with. Just although she's kind of an anime fan, which would mean that I would, but she likes beer, so we would have that in common. Maybe one day I'll get to do these interviews. Makoto's just laughing. I don't know why, but just laughing. Is ABC still open? Shoe stores? Yes, it is. ABC shoe stores are still open here, and they're still everywhere. Marto, Howard is going to have to review ASP for some... that's the one with the dodgy name. The debut album drops next month, I believe. They were trending on Twitter because K-pop fans got a hold of the name. Fair enough. Still nothing compared to the... Well, actually, no, it is a lot compared to... But, when me and James last week were talking about the Shit Kings. Wait, let's do that properly. The Shit Kings. You heard me. The Shit Kings. Awful name. And the Poop Princes. Our version is better. So what I get of a female version called the Duchess of Doodoo. Anyway, so this is terrible. Rev, Five Guys like McDonald's but made by people who don't hate you. Oh, it's a stunning indictment of everyone who's ever worked in McDonald's, and yet at the same point kind of rings true. Actually, I did have I went to a lotteria when I was in Tokyo, because I haven't been to a lotteria since Korea. It's pretty good, actually. I've got to be honest, it's pretty good. And on James's behalf, I went to a McDonald's and tried the samurai burger, which he recommended I tried. Quite possibly the worst thing I've ever eaten. I think I mentioned that in the last live stream. All 5 live drinking, says Mikoto. That's a good start. So Naguna says the hate is replaced by increase of price. So you pay to reduce the hate, or you get a hate discount. It could be, you get a discount, but you have to take the hate. So you have to look at it both ways. So Mikoto says McDonald's Japan at least tastes better. I don't know that it does. Maybe they got more interesting flavors from what James says. They got more interesting varieties, but to me, the one thing that McDonald's seems to get right is that I guess it's 'cause it's hard to get wrong, but their chicken burger's pretty good actually. You have the chicken burger, they put a decent sauce on it, but lettuce tastes decent and crunchy. To be honest, my big problem with McDonald's is twofold. Their beef burgers taste like fucking nothing. There's no taste to them. I mean, seriously, James. I mean, I take this with a touch of salt, because when I talk about beer, James says, "Oh, beer just tastes like beer." So I kind of think of that when I'm saying this. But to me, I mean, whereas maybe James doesn't drink a lot of alcoholic drinks, I do eat a lot of things like burgers. I eat a lot of meat. I'm a sort of pretty meat heavy diet, to be honest. So I would be surprised if I thought it tastes like nothing and it didn't. I do think, like most people say, McDonald's burgers, it's not about the burger. The burger's just trash. It's about the stuff they put on top. The flavourings is how they get you. And that I could take if it wasn't for the second problem. My biggest problem with McDonald's, like I say, I'm okay with the tasteless burger that you flavour up. It's cheap. That's fine. The chicken burger, like I say, is actually pretty decent. No problem with that. But the big problem is that the bread, the bun, the bread in McDonald's it's not bread. It's disgusting. It's floppy, it's wet, it's dough, it has no consistency, it has no flavour, it has no crunch, isn't toasted properly ever. It's just, I hate it. I absolutely hate the bread they use. So that's my real big problem with McDonald's. Shitty buns, which was proven a lot. If you ever go to Moss Burger, proper burger restaurant. It's a proper burger restaurant. If you ever go to Moss Burger and you have yourself a proper burger, then what you'll realise, I'm really taking advantage of those cameras, paid for them after all. No, they're really odd. It's properly toasted. It's toasted. You bite into it, you get a crunch. It sits on top of the burger. You hold it and it's a burger. It's not like a McDonald's one. You could limp it if it wasn't for the fact that the meat's hard enough to beat someone to death and then eat the evidence. They got it the wrong way around. The meat should be tender and the bun should be crispy. Instead, you've got hard meat and floppy bread. So that's my problem with McDonald's. There you go. Thought I'd dive in and do that again. But clearly, most people disagree with me because McDonald's is the most successful chain of fast food restaurants, I believe, in the world. So clearly, I'm wrong. But I'm not. So anyway, so I'm going to get some of the comments here. Shrimp burger, though. You pay more. Shrimp burger doesn't sound like it's something that would be nice in any restaurant, if I'm honest with you. But I'll take your word. You pay more. Oh, at Five Guys. Well, I'm assuming it's better. What it says, supposedly US McDonald's tastes better than Canadian McDonald's, but the Canadian McDonald's has a much wider variety of options. That's an intriguing one. So it could be I think this is kind of what we're saying about the Japanese one, is that because there's such a wide menu that if it's the stuff which is particularly good that you might not have in other countries is actually how it elevates itself above, I'm supposing. Fernando, McD fries chips taste like plastic these days. I don't think they're good, but I wouldn't openly criticise them. I think for a fast food restaurant, certainly the ones that I've had when I was in England or here in Japan, the chips, I'm going to call them that. Or in Japan, just potato. They call it potato, fried potato. So I'll go with potato. The potato it's pretty much fast food stand. I'm one of those people who I think that the Burger King ones are much better, but Burger King's and other places don't really eat because, again, it's just not a scratch on Moss Burger. That's right, people. I'm talking to you about Moss Burger. No paid advertising, I swear. I'm going to get to that keyboard for the camera change a bit quicker because otherwise it's slow. Oh my god. So let's have a look here. Nagoon says McDonald's usually comes squashed flat. That's kind of true as well. It's weird that, isn't it? You can tell they kind of press it together in a way that, I mean, that's normal. That's what you do with a burger. You press it together. But when everything is basically has no consistency, it ends up looking like looks like someone's driven over it because it can't hold its own weight. Oh my god. Sorry. Sorry. Just have a look at some of the comments because I'm concentrated so much on these food comments, even more than the music ones. At least the 3 times I went in Japan, the burgers at least looked like the ads. Oh, no, not for me. I'd say in Japan, they still look squashed for me as well. Carter says Japan has better options for burgers. Smaller shops taste better. Again, that makes total sense. I can see the spit flying from Howard's mouth as he rants. I got a good laugh out of Big Cotter as well, but yeah, that's the anger. I get angry about really weird subjects sometimes. Martin, spit makes buns soggy. So you're saying it's my fault? They're actually fine, but my saliva. I'm not drooling, so I look at it. It just looks like it's been run over. It looks like roadkill, so I can't drool over it. Therefore, that's not the reason. McGinn, Howard dispenses the hate or for free. You damn right. No discounts here. You're not paying anything for this. Oh man. Harry, McDonald's used to have great chips, thank you. Now, nowadays, I prefer Burger King's ones. Yeah, I kind of agree. I think I told the story before when in the UK, they had a special type of Burger King fries that they were calling Satis fries. And I think I went with James. Or maybe I told him the story, but I went there and I refused to call them Satis fries. I was like, can I have some Satis chips, please? Just to be bloody minded about it, because why the hell not? Or Satis potato if I'm in Japan. Mirai, I don't think McDonald's is about selling burgers, it's about selling convenience. Yes. Tokyo and Saga have tons of gourmet burger places for varying levels of quality, all above fast food levels. I absolutely 100% agree, but it always makes me think about the convenience stores. When you go into like a convenience store here and you get over the counter, like you can get like the Family Chicken. That's like much better quality than anything in McDonald's, in my opinion. And even if you get one of those little microwave burgers in the convenience store, like the Fukura burger, which I got with James, and you just say, oh, pop it in the microwave, heat it up. It's as good as anything in McDonald's, in my opinion. So I still find that a bit weird. But then again, they're giving you a seat. So yeah, I think you're probably right. Yeah, the convenience is definitely a big part of it. Marta says, the chips at McDonald's are okay enough. Better than BK. Oh, really? Or Wendy's. I don't remember the Wendy's one. I remember that the burger in Wendy's was really cool. I only went one time in Ueno with James. I think I went in America before as well. Those things taste like shit. I think the Burger King ones actually I prefer the Burger King ones to the McDonald's one, but I know it's a chase. Worst ones are KFC though. I can't see how KFC can be bad because they let you season them yourself, which I think is actually a much better idea, kind of like they do in a chip shop. But no, they're fine. They're just kind of. I feel the same way about the KFC ones. I feel about most of them. They're just kind of generic. Although the ones in Japan are much different from the ones in the UK, so probably KFC are quite different about how they do it. Like the ones in the UK are a little bit soft. They're not really crisp. The ones in Japan, they come out nice and crisp, and they're quite fat as well. They are more like chips than what is usually referred to as fries. Howard is now sponsored by Mossberg. You're damn right. I wish they'd pay me, but they're not going to pay me. I just want you guys to have... This is the truth, all right? I just want you guys to have a good burger. That's why I'm telling you about Mossberg. Oh, man. But you might as well set them on fire, says Mara. The KFC ones. Oh, yeah, because you said fire. Okay, I get it. Of the chains in Japan, Moss is probably best one. First Kitchen and Lotteria are okay at best. Rather eat 7-Eleven and Lawson. Totally agree with you. Actually, never been to First Kitchen. What's First Kitchen? But I agree with you about Lotteria. I think Lotteria is a tad overpriced for what it is, but you get a pretty good deal. I think as a general, Lotteria, most people consider it to be a tad overpriced. Kind of like what you guys were probably saying about the Five Guys. I think Mossberg is just... I'm shilling again. I think they're just a good balance of price and quality. If you want a burger... after all, a burger is like... It's a slab of meat. You want it to have a bit of taste to it. That's why I feel a bit weird about McDonald's burgers. It feels like it's almost like the antithesis of what a burger should be. I don't know. For me, actually, this is the thing I've said a lot, actually. We've come a lot in conversation with James. For me, a burger, like a beer... It should be something which is simple and the taste should just be there. It should be about good meat. All the other flavourings and things, it's like hiding your inability to do a burger properly. You know, it's kind of like it's kind of like having a pop group who like have massive image and all this kind of stuff and crazy sort of dubstep sounds because they kind of hiding the fact they haven't written a very interesting song. That's kind of what it feels like to me. It feels like that. That's my reverse metaphor. Whereas a good burger should be a simple thing. It doesn't need much flavouring. It doesn't need much, just basic flavours, just the right amount. A little bit of salad, just a little bit of lettuce on there. Put a bit of cheese on if you want. Cook it perfectly. And it's about the taste of the meat. That's what it's about. The sauces are secondary. I'm getting passionate about this. Sorry. And this is the same thing that we said about coffees. Because obviously I like cheap coffees. That's fine. But I like a coffee with a good balanced taste. Whereas James, he buys those coffees from Starbucks where I'm pretty sure there isn't any coffee in there. It's just that's fucking ice cream. Bought an ice cream. But we've had this conversation before. He knows where I stand. I know where he stands, and that's what makes it so fun. So okay. River says McDonald's burgers. We're just on a burger rampage today. McDonald's burger flatness is where they punch it, thinking of your face. So whereas Starbucks, they write your name on it. McDonald's, they just hold it up and they imagine you. God, how to confuse Japanese burgers even more at potato versus fry versus chip. Well, I like the Japanese one's nice and literal. Potato, it's just, yeah. Okay, we could specify what type of potato it is. You might expect just to get a potato, but at least it's, it avoids the confusion of colloquialisms. Yep, at Wedge Type, First Kitchen Wendy's in Japan. Oh, wait a second, First Kitchen is Wendy's in Japan, isn't it? Oh, I see, yeah. Again, KFC is usually potato wedges. Not in Japan, but they are. They're kind of like big enough to base. They to me, they're the ones in Japan. They look like English chips. They're not wedges, but they're sort of big, chunky. You can chew on each one like a stick, rather than the sort of American style fries, where basically you're picking up like little tiny, spindly things. You have to eat about 5 at a time to actually taste anything. Kind of like the McDonald's ones. Those are like the really thin ones. Mirai, First Kitchen currently owns the Wendy's license in Japan. So burgers are really Wendy's burgers. The Wendy's I went to in Ueno, James can tell me if that is a First Kitchen. I'm assuming it is because if they own the license. But the burger there was really nice. Bit overpriced, but really nice. First Kitchen used to have really good pie, desserts. Oh my god, so many comments. I've got to catch up. Always talk about food's making me hungry as fuck. Damn right, Mo, me too. I just eaten. I don't need to feel hungry again. I did work at McDonald's briefly back in the 90s, and the workers there were just miserable people. Oh my god, this image we're painting is horrifying. I remember, again, I feel like I'm slagging off James. I feel really bad about this. I wish he was here to defend himself against all these horrible things I'm saying. But there was an advert that came out about 2 years ago, which was like an employment advert for McDonald's in Japan, and it was like done in the anime style. I remember James saying, "Oh, it's really cool," and I was like, "It is cool," but I was like, this is the worst false advertising ever. It makes like working at McDonald's look really nice. I was like, this is just barefaced lying. It's like, I do not believe it is anything like this. And I think he thought I was being a bit of a spoil sport, which is totally true. So, Mariah says, I won't abbreviate First Kitchen Wendy's. I don't want to get banned from chat. I get the feeling that there's something really rude in there that I didn't pick up on. But okay. Fernando, burger, meat, onion, yeah. Fair enough. Pickles, like a nice slice of gherkin. Lettuce, tomato, yeah. Cheese, and that's it. Nothing else. Yeah, I mean, all of those things in very light amounts. Like the tomato, you just want like the rim of the tomato. Cheese, don't overdo it. Lettuce, because lettuce doesn't have much taste, it's just kind of there more for the crunch. You can lay a bit more of that on. Pickle's got a nice strong flavour, so again, you don't need much of it. Onion, I don't really bother with onion myself, because I tend to find it doesn't really add anything that the lettuce doesn't already. It's just there for the crunch again, but yeah, fair enough. Just like a very small amount of onion. Right, I think potato is potato fry like pomme frite. Yeah, but I mean, like you go into like most of the fast food restaurants in Japan, you just get like the free katakana potato. So I think I'm sure some of the places call it potato fry. You see that usually in like an actual restaurant, it will say potato fry. In katakana, but you know this. You don't need me to tell you this. We've got a little tangent storm. Japan doesn't have Jack in the Box, unfortunately. Please tell me that's not the name of another restaurant. It's just weird. Harry, waiting to see the titles of this stream later on. Yeah, I'm going to have to change the title of this stream. Plenty enough. Burger Talk. Shouldn't this be on James's channel? Sweet, sweet beer. And on that note, yeah, we're about an hour and a quarter in, so I might move this back onto the Discord. Round this one up for tonight, move back onto the Discord and take things up from there might be a good choice. Thank you, by the way, 13 viewers and 13 likes. I really appreciate that. Anyone who hasn't dropped a like in, feel free to do so. Another chain lol. Jack in the Box. Why? Beer and burgers. Freshness Burger in Japan, they're really into beer and burger. I remember they're pretty good. That might just be the beer. Begin. Yes, how do people live without 2 tacos for $1? How do they live after eating what I imagine 2 tacos for $1 must actually be? So, I want to say a big thank you to you all. Remember, there is more content hopefully coming this week. A lot of the stuff, there's been a lot of work going on. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure about tomorrow. Monday might be a video tomorrow, but definitely Tuesday onwards we'll get back into that. Also, really want to remind you guys, do check out Back a Bits. I don't know if I've still got the link in my clipboard. I do. So go sub to Back a Bits if you haven't already. Harry's dropped the Discord link, which is great appreciated because we're going to continue this over on Discord like we always do. But yeah, do please sub to the Back a Bits channel. If you're, like I say, if you're a new person to the channel, it'll just give you some like fun little clips of stuff that you wouldn't have seen from years ago and from the previous channel. And if you're not new, if you've been here for a while, then you might remember some of these old clips. I posted one which was from one of our very first reviews, one of the ones I did with Bubbles, where it wasn't even video, it was just audio. In fact, actually, that one was from the radio show. Yeah, some of these clips will be from the radio show, from the Sapro broadcast, which is now going back like 4 years. And yeah, there's one where I play Bubbles. I was introducing Bubbles to Japanese music. He was only used to anime. I was introducing him to Japanese music, and I played him this one song that came out, and he could not work out what the central lyric was, even though it gets repeated over and over again. That clip is hilarious. Please do check that out. I think I actually labelled it, "What the hell is that lyric?" So go check out some of those. They're really fun. Thank you, Harry, for dropping the Discord link again. I really appreciate you doing that, because that's where we're going to continue the conversation about seemingly burgers. There was like a really nice conversation going on about guitars on there, but that's about to get swept away by Burger Talk. That's what this is. Mine, hit the like and subscribe. Thank you, Martin. Martin is right, and please do that. Greatly appreciate it. It's filled with meat paste. Check out other channels. Again, with Martin 100%. Thank you. You guys are so much better at doing this publicity than I am. Fernando, meat paste. What kind of meat? Oh, this is the tacos. Yeah, I was about to say meat paste just sounds like you just got all of the farm and just put it through a grinder and then just took whatever came out and just slopped it over some taco. I love the fact that taco in Japan is the Japanese word for octopus, but obviously tacos are a type of food in Mexico, so Taco Bell should in Japan do a taco, an octopus taco. They probably do. Beef, says Nagoon, just beef in quotation marks. That's horrifying. That's something you'd expect from McDonald's. Yeah, my missus loves Taco Bell. I don't understand why, but I had Taco Bell once with her. It was lovely. So, Marta says something. A lot of unpack on this channel. Something. We're always on this channel. Thank you. I love the fact that I'm basically being made to sound like a soundboard where you just press the button and the word comes out, which is true. And I would know this, having worked with music my entire adult life. Crappy Music Mag changed it to Food Talk. Yeah, that's kind of where this started. I should never have done that. Harry, again, thank you for dropping the Reddit. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for pressing like us. We've got another like. It's greatly appreciated. Like I say, I'm going to do another line because of the fact that we're not monetized. That's why you don't see any adverts. Those likes are just like a currency for us. Big thank you as always to anyone who follows our social medias. Get on the Discord now because that's where the conversation is going to continue. If you want to talk about burgers or music or whatever it is, it's going to be over there. And a big thank you to our patrons who keep this channel alive because without you, we wouldn't have any form of getting income because of the fact that we're non-monetized. I already said that, but I'm going to say it again. And let's move this along. Let's get onto the Discord. Let's continue this conversation over there. I'm going to explain. I did that because I know James watches these back at 1.5 times speed. All right, thank you so much. Before I go, like I said, Back-A-Bits is going to have a 24-hour video coming up of this. So remember, the bog roll has its new home. So yeah, I'm going to take it away now. You're going to miss it, but it will be coming. Thank you so much, everyone. Ciao, ciao from Moto. Harry says, ja, matane. Until next time, à la prochaine. Stay safe. Thank you, Fernando. See you all next week. Stay safe. Eat good burgers, says again. Free cams. Oh, yeah, I forgot about the free cams. Let's go free cam style to say goodbye. Something, ciao, ciao. Thank you for that. All right, guys. So, from here in Japan, thank you so much for tuning in. And until I see you next time, for now. Ciao, ciao. Yeah, you're right. Centipedes in brains. I forgot about that. Maybe the cameras can be used to track centipedes. Alright, guys, get over onto Discord. Let's pick this up over there. I'm going to finish this up and then I'll be on Discord with you. Oh, I've got to redo the thumbnail and the title and everything. You people and your burgers. Ciao, ciao.